However you slice it, we are having a massive conversation here at Sound Chat Radio. Are gun lyrics, the gangsterism of the dancehall, responsible for the criminality in Jamaica? Can gun lyrics make people kill? Are gun lyrics responsible for the murder rate in Jamaica? Is the question that we're having here. Should artists bear some responsibility for their lyrical content in the dancehall? And is it having a negative effect on the society in Jamaica? My next guest is the platinum-selling, multi-Grammy Award-winning artist, Shaggy. Shaggy Wagwan.
I'm saying everything good, man. Bless.
Big conversation that we're having here on Sound Chat Radio, and I'm so honored to have your input on this. We grew up with gun lyrics in the dance hall. We all enjoyed that segment where the selector or the sound was playing some real strong gangsterized lyrics. We all gave forward to them in the dance halls, such as Biltmore, such as Stardust, Flamingo, you name it, of course, because you ran the circuit in your early careers. Did that have any negative effect on us? Can gun lyrics have negative effect on the fans of the dancehall?
I don't think so. I just think it's art. It's a craft, you know what I mean? Not because they might play a dub plate and the dub plate has to kill this person and gunshot this and show dub plate and bush shot and rare that I'm literally gonna get up and try to do the same thing. I just don't buy that. What is causing crime is literally disadvantage and systemic racism, among other things. We have to look at life, we have to look at government. That's why I say even as artists, and we should get involved into our politics and get involved is having opportunities. There's a lack of opportunities. That is and a cultural, a certain culture to say that you have to learn, you have to work. You have to, if people have to have mentors, they have to have inspiration. All of them things that play a part in it. I don't think gun lyrics is entertainment.
It's interesting.
You enjoy it, I enjoy it.
It's interesting that you just said that artists, should get involved in politics. Why do you feel that way? Let's expunge a little bit more on that.
When I was young, I never paid attention to politics. As I got old and I have children and I have responsibilities, and I'm looking at my taxes and I'm looking at creating generational wealth. A lot of these people that are in power, that hold positions, that are in the position of making powers and passing policies that might affect you directly. So you have to get involved.
The argument is being raised that depending on where you come from in the society in Jamaica, whether it's uptone, midtone, or downtone, the music coming out of the dancehall will have a different effect on you. And some people argue that the music is the one encouraging the youth them to pick up the gun. The music is the one that is telling them to bust shot. The music is the one that is helping them have that meditation to continue to murder and raise the crime rate in Jamaica. Do you feel that the artists bear any responsibility when we speak about something like this, Shaggy?
No. And I think it's lack of opportunities. When a man put a gun in his waist and go out there, I'm not go out there because he just want to go up shoot him. I go out there because I'm going to get something because I'm hungry. I do it because, like Dave Kelly said on the show, when Bounty Killer said, anytime you see me nine, I'm hungry. If I'm hungry again, you're going to see me nine. Right? Police out there and my fight crime holiday, I come and see the first time. You know what I mean? If you have a youth now, especially in Jamaica, you have a youth now where a man might come from CVU, but him go to college and him get all them O levels and A levels or whatever it is, all the qualification, and him going to try to get a work. Don't wanna, I don't know, ATL or whatever it is, And him attempt him overqualified, and him look on him address and say, well, I see you come from. I know they might do it, they might give a job to one of them cousins. Or somebody that's less qualified. And that has been going on for years, upon years. Some of these guys, no matter how much school you might go or how well you might do, you still don't get those opportunities as some of the privilege them get. I mean, it says lack of opportunities. Right? And then she start trying to fix that instead of sitting and try to blame artists and blame lyrics and gun lyrics. Gun lyrics are entertainment. See? Like you're killing the from where youth go all the way up. It's a cultural thing. Nobody's sitting down there really going reacting on it. Come on, man.
So no one is reacting on the gun lyrics. It's entertainment for those who are,
Yeah.
part of the dancehall space. Solely entertainment and should only be viewed as that.
You look at all right, let's switch it to a minute. For years you've been hearing boom bye bye and people talk homosexual lyrics across from artists. So till everybody thinks Jamaica is the worst place for homosexuals. Right? And that them can't walk freely and them can't do this and can't do that. Which artist ever here kill a homosexual?
Sin.
Never happened. Never happened. Come on, man. What are we doing here, bro?
So there are issues then outside of the dance hall in which the dance hall is being the scapegoat for, correct?
Clearly, on every level. On every level. You know, I tell you what about it is. We were doing promo, and I was supposed to go on a television show. We put in for a request to be on one of the, I'm not going to call it a television show name. And they did not accept me based on the fact that I was from Jamaica. And they're saying that I represent homophobia.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's no track record of me doing this. I don't, but yet just the fact that I'm a reggae artist, right? And this is a mainstream television show. And it was going for me and Sting. And they wouldn't mind keeping Sting, but I couldn't come on because of that. Of course, Sting said, no way, if I'm not going, I'm not going either. But the point I'm trying to make, based on the homophobic connotations that we have as Jamaica, for the lack of a better word, they wouldn't accept me on the show to promote a major album.
And again,
and if you look at the ratio per cap for people who live in Jamaica compared to homosexual crimes, most of it is crime of passion.
mm-hmm.
Homosexuals against homosexuals. You get what I'm saying? So why I bring the argument there is it's the same thing has been going through where you start to commit crime. The paint in Jamaica as this place is the most is the Gaza Strip. A lot of it is more propaganda than anything else. See, I live in Jamaica, I have children in Jamaica. I'm not saying that there isn't crime, and there's an escalation of crime, but the escalation of crime is not because of gun lyrics. It's the fact that we have a pandemic and people can't make ends meet.
Mm-hmm.
Stores aren't opening, jobs are less, right? We can't operate as we used to. All of that is a strain. Kids them their school can't go to school. See, some of them not have internet to come on them tablets. So it's oh yeah, they're home school and they could go online. Think about youth that don't have the internet in yard. If you think about internet at Jamaica is tri-state, I mean not tri-state, is Kingston. You start go up on the outer skirts, you can. That's why we have Ready TV and we try with Ready TV, to try get internet into the rural area.
So you are getting into kind of like a television business right now?
I'm also a director on Ready TV, and these are some of the things that we're doing. Is trying to get internet in rural places so these kids can actually get on their devices.
Nice.
Because that's also another part of the problem that's going on. I mean, so you have to understand, say, if you're not trying to build, these are the things that are happening that we have to try to build, try to change, so that you can change. And we need role models. We need people that they can look up to and say, all right, yeah, okay, the money has something with them life, and the money I try to create generational wealth, which is why I'm doing the same thing with artists, right? There needs to be a new bar. The bar needs to be a Shaggy or a Sean Paul when I look and I say, all right, this is what I want to do. Them man, I want to create my generational wealth. I want to change my team. I want to change the cycle of my family as a youth to come out of the ghetto. You see, and have a long, illustrious career past 30 years and go down. How much more call me I get where them I say, yeah, well, Shaggy, you can support a GoFundMe. Such and such artists need to get buried. Such and such artists need surgery. Such and such artists. Come on. Every artist you know right now, the intellectual properties is owned by other entities, whether it be Universal or BP or whosoever else. They
Right.
don't own their work. When are we going to change that? And if somebody like myself or Sean or them on a stand up feet and I start show the youth them the way, say, yo, brother, but I run down this up. You need to run down this up.
So, do you feel that the artists should play a role as role models in the lives of the everyday citizens in
Absolutely.
Jamaica?
Absolutely.
And why
Absolutely.
so?
I don't think it should go to a point where you're going to stifle your craft or your freedom of speech or the culture. Come on. Dr. Dre made almost $3 billion, right, on a brand that he built on gangster rap and provided many a jobs to thousands of people. What are we saying here? You're not going to take away the culture, what you know. The dancehall culture and the clash culture is a part of what is lowering. Look at DJ Khaled. DJ Khaled has made a career here that started from the dancehall culture. A fully loaded him used to go.
Same.
But clash. Come on, Chin, you know what I'm talking about.
But I rather people hear it from you because, and
you're not gonna stop the culture. You can't stop the culture. The culture is what what lures people. The culture is why Justin Bieber is sampling on Ed Sheeran and them Monday. You're not going. Oh well, we got to change the culture. We got to change our.
So we should not dilute the culture. Then the culture is the culture. You know what I mean? We should embrace the culture.
The culture.
All
the
aspects
culture
of the culture.
Yeah, but the culture is a constant hybrid evolution, so to speak. It changes as it goes along, and it's about certain basic things. Everything is about hybrid. You look at that documentary, Bob Marley, when them say them carry overseas and them get British musicians to overdub on top of the original Wailers music. You know what I mean? That was a hybrid. There's nothing about that that was pure as a purist then. No, it was a hybrid. Because let's face it, back when Bob Marley was doing it, them call him a sellout. Is it ironic that those recordings are now the blueprint of what reggae music is? Come on, man.
Artists need to be role models. How do we start down that road, Shaggy? So from somebody like you, I think it's a perfect question. How do we start to make artists in Jamaica, and what needs to be done, what needs to be put in place for the citizens to look at, the majority of the artists as role models for this society?
You got to start creating. We have to change the cycle. There's a cycle for years that has been going where the artist has no ownership. Times have changed. Teaching these artists and educating them. I say every day with artists, it's easy to educate yourself right now. Google is your friend. YouTube is your friend. There's somebody on there explaining music business to you to the T. Back in my days, I would have to go try to find the book on him, everything you want to know about music business, or sit down with somebody who has done it and try and figure it out. Easier now. Easy to be done. Educate yourself. Try to learn. Own your intellectual properties. Know about sound exchange. Know about publishing. Create your pension plan. These are what we need to think of. Reggae music and dancehall music, though it is the genre that has birthed so many other genres like reggaeton and Afrobeat and hip hop, and all of those streaming numbers are huge. Reggae and dancehall is 5%, 6% of the global market. That is not even enough for you to sit down and have a conversation with Spotify or any label.
Right.
And we're running around with our heads up driving some Mercedes or some BMW or some things down at Jamaica with a bank up where you have to pay a banknote fund like you've made it. Come on. It's a new time. There's barely a copyright law. Them just get a copyright law in Jamaica today. There's no work for hire law in Jamaica. Oh, nobody not just that. How come there's no union in Jamaica for really protect the artists so that you have medical and dental for artists? Why is radio stations in Jamaica playing more foreign music than they're playing local music when France and Canada play a majority of their local music to the tune of 80% and 60% of them thing there compared to Jamaica. So all those revenues is going to foreign acts than Jamaican acts. These are the things that need reform. We sit down there blaming artists for crime. Come on, man, wake up.
When we can, finally see your vision, and when the industry sees your vision of making the artists role models, what do you think will come out of that as far as Jamaica's development with the music?
The artists, them for the artists, them become role models. You have to let them know that they matter. They got it. You need good artist management. You need They need a role model to know that they should be a role model.
Mm-hmm.
See, so them have to realize the artists them where them want have them role model. Them have to look on it. It have to be a different narrative.
See.
Them have to pretty much and look on the man them where really I do it compared to man. Don't go with the man them where people say I do it, where them feel I do it. It's a numbers game. Look at the analytics. Streaming numbers. You can't say artists are the biggest artists out of YouTube views. Do not confuse views with streams. It's two different things. You need almost 2,000 YouTube views to actually make $1. Think about what I'm saying. A majority of Jamaican Jamaican artists are their music is consumed by YouTube, through YouTube. So how can you acquire wealth?
Right.
When you're not streaming, you're not competing in the major market. You're not on Spotify, which has the biggest market share. Come on, man.
So is Shaggy getting more involved these days into educating, the artists that will listen? Are you doing seminars? Are you, having I know that you're somebody that definitely gravitates to artists and love having artists around you. Are you educating these youngsters, as time goes along? What are you doing these days?
Absolutely. We did the Jamaica Music Conference last year. A lot of people learned a lot going there. We wanted to do this year. I think we want to do some sort of a virtual one this year. But that was the reason for me to get involved in it, is just to educate them. Mm-hmm. The last one, people was there. We brought down everybody, a lot of people. This year, if it was going down, I was trying to bring some of the heads. People like Bob Pittman, who's the head of iHeart. People like Scott Greenstein, who's the head of SiriusXM. You know what I mean? These are friends of mine. People like Olivier Francois, who is the CMO of the Fiat Group, which is Chrysler and Ferrari, and all of these people who use music. And let them come down and have conversations. We can ask questions and come to seminars and create workshops and stuff like that. That is why we did it. But, obviously the pandemic really put a damper on that. But that is definitely educate. We cannot change the cycle of how music is done and how relevant music and put our position ourselves where we are forced to be reckoned with unless we change the narrative.
Why when I look at your catalog, is there a reason why you chose not to go too far into the hardcore gun lyrics? Like, explain that part of your career to me.
Because I was never a gun lyric artist. I was always a gal artist.
Mm-hmm.
So I do gal tune. See? How believably it's going to say where Shaggy talk about y'all, right? That was never my thing. So you have to kind of see it in a way people believe it with.
Even in the early days, even in the early Biltmore days for Shaggy, were there any rude boy lyrics at those times, or never for you?
We have car drawing. Yeah, you do car drawing and you talk about a man shut on him shoes and him wear and you draw a card on them. You see it and diss them. Yeah. We had them days.
Right.
But as my thing developed, look on the tune them, my boss me. Big up. But a girl tune them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Mr. Bombastic, a girl tune. So why would I move away from the formula that works? No, I have moved from pop to dancehall to reggae. I left out of pop music. I started in dancehall, right? Was successful at dancehall. We did Old Carolina, which was a dancehall tune because it really started at the streets of Brooklyn, but then became a pop song. And then after that, everybody looked at me as a pop artist. And I physically took myself out of the pop genre to actually go back and rebuild my brand as a core. And I did one thing, I wrote Church Eden and got that going, right? And got back the core, right? And did a couple more of them songs and did the Intoxication album, with Bonafide Girl. Then the other day, them say I was a reggae, so I went back and I went for Sly and Robbie, and I created Out of One music, and I wrote the song Fight This Feeling with Berries, and got back into the reggae scene. So I've done specific things to bring myself back into core things every now and then.
Right.
You know what I mean? All of it is strategic.
Throughout this whole process, have you been a fan of hardcore dancehall lyrics as far as the gangsterism is concerned, or has that just never been your thing? Now we're not even speaking about for you, but in the dance, do you bust a skank when you hear a Rude Boy song?
Dude, I am not just a fan, I'm a super fan of it. Everything we use the sim on the side of the stage. Go back and check.
Seen.
So they have seen every one of them. I want the clash, I want to see the clash, at the culture, at the vibe, and that me know.
Seen.
That's how you keep your craft sharp. That's how you master it. That's why you have so much youth now. They're studio gangsters. Them attack, them sit down and them a clash. I never see something like this here, but people are clash, and this new generation are clash, and them a do it in the studio. You know what I mean? And build a tune against another man tune, and them you don't even know if them are write it or them are do it. But on stage, you got to be quick. And that's how you master your craft. That's how you sharp the tools. That's how you have the edge over the rest of the genre. That's all. We were a genre that was not played on mainstream. That's how Yellowman became huge. When you look at somebody like Yellowman in the late 70s, early 80s, Albino Brother, where basically made the world stop and took notice to the tune where major labels had to be seeking him out when his genre didn't even play. Right. He wasn't a star. He was a superstar. He had superhero-like talents. How did he develop those superhero-like talents? The dancehall, the stage show, the clash. That's how he got that. That's why these guys now are not doing it, because they don't have that anymore. All them clash, them record a song in the studio and put it up on YouTube, and I call a man name. Catch him live, he can't probably spit that live.
Right.
So that's why you see we're having a hard time competing now. It's not the same. It's not the level playing field. The same level playing field. What kind of playing field are going out against these rappers? They got bigger numbers than you.
How do you feel when you're out there?
Used to beat up the stage.
How do you feel when you're out there all by yourself, though? It seems like Shaggy's out there representing. Sean is out there as well. I don't know if there's other ones and ones out there, but how do you feel that you're pretty much carrying a genre, on a certain level, pretty much by yourself, or just with the company of one or two people?
It's hard. It's hard, and I'll tell you one thing. If you look at, with dancehall being 5 or 6% of the global market share, the minute you come out as a reggae artist, you're at a disadvantage. Because let's take, for instance, Spotify. You're going to automatically, as a reggae artist, they're going to put you on these reggae playlists. Now, you and I know there are a handful of those, and if you look at the subscribers on the numbers, they're pretty low. Think about what I'm saying to you. So write this up. You're not going to get on New Music Friday or any of the big ones because you're reggae. Your numbers are too low. You're in a genre that's too low. So the minute you do that, you're at a disadvantage. So what I have to do, I have to literally start figuring my way to promote myself as a pop icon. Which is why the only thing that was here was with TV. So I went ahead and did TV and do as much to create the brand and let the brand be as mainstream as possible. So now that when I go to Spotify or something, there's like, okay, we can't just put him in a reggae category, he's a pop icon.
So
that's what you have to do.
So reggae alone wouldn't allow you to do it?
No, absolutely not. Not with the numbers that being so low. You all right, take for instance when Rihanna started. She started with Pon the Replay, dancehall song, right?
Yep.
All right, what should do after that? Pop. Notice she never repeated the dancehall after that. They figured it out that, oh shit, that's a heavy cement bag to be carrying. You're carrying a genre with homophobia, um, violence, low numbers, all of that. Now, I'm not saying that hip hop and these other genres don't have violence and all of that shit,
But their
but they
numbers
have
are high.
numbers.
Their numbers are high.
There you go. So the leverage is different, brother.
Yes, and people are willing to take the chance because it comes
Yes,
with a negative, but there's still money there for them to earn because the numbers are
there's
high.
upside. There
Yes,
you go.
yeah.
There
When
you
when
go.
it comes to our culture, we have the negative, and then there's no money to kind of even out the negative there because we're
There
doing
you
no
go.
numbers. Yeah, I get what you're saying, my
And
brother.
then you look at me, you look at a man like me, them say, oh yeah, man, Shaggy and a dancer. I hear some man today, yeah, the highest streaming guy is this, that, and so I say, whoa, man, what happened to Shaggy and Sean? We're at 10, 15 million. The other day during Banana, we're up to 18 million monthly subscribers on Spotify. Wait, no man, them man they on a dancer. So them man they on a dancer. Okay, all right, so we're in a dancer. Well, the dancehall music is a music of guns and violence and homophobia. No, we're not. Look at Shaggy.
Right.
So you're conveniently dancehall.
Well,
Come on, the hypocrisy is blatant, man. Come on, man.
let me ask a Shaggy this though. How do your peers in that international world look at you? Do they look at you as the reggae artist Shaggy, or do they look at you as the pop artist Shaggy? I'm speaking of the Rihannas and the other persons that you would encounter on that big
You will
level.
always be looked at as the reggae dancehall artist
And that's interesting.
because
That's interesting.
because
Stick a pin,
yeah,
Shaggy. That's interesting
because
because we're looking at you, as well. Shaggy's not fitting the criteria. Him not talk about gunshot. Him not talk about this. Him not talk about that. So, yo, Shaggy a pop artist, yeah, man. But the rest of the world is still looking at you as Shaggy that represents Jamaica and represents dancehall and reggae. Correct?
exactly, exactly,
It's a very,
exactly.
it's a very, very,
It,
very tight spot to be in, my brother.
Exactly. They're looking at you. They're going to look at you as this icon, this guy that really, broke the barrier down. So you get a lot of respect. Everything you see that is happening to me is because my brand demands that kind of respect. Where people is like, okay, we fucking with him. You know what I'm saying? So, and that is built by my work ethic and how it goes. But it goes back to the same thing. Now I'll break it down too. Take for instance the film industry. Name. What does, say for instance, Cool Runnings, what's the other one? How Stella Got Our Groove Back, Cocktail, and what the next one with name? Club Paradise. What do they all have in common?
That Jamaican theme.
Yes, but what else do they have in common?
Tell me.
They're all box office. They're all box office hits. Successful box office smashes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what does Out They Come, Belly, Dancehall Queen, Shatters have in common?
I guess they weren't box all hits, but they were
There you
hits in the
go.
culture. They're
They
they're
were
massive in the
cult.
culture, cultural
They
hits.
were cult. They were cult hits exactly, but they weren't box office hits. So let's break it down to it. When you look at this, what does all of those the ones that were box office hits? What do they have in common? Them have beach, them have rent a dread, them have weed, them have red stripe, all the cliche things that we in Jamaica might look at as corny.
Right.
Those are what is in those things that make them do well. So much to the tune of Jimmy Buffett pretty much taking that concept, right, and creating $1 billion industry out of it. To the tune of him making about 90 million a year, right? In basically dressing up like a Caribbean guy and doing some B-side songs, right? And then selling it to Live Nation and collect a royalty upon it and created a $1 billion industry by himself out of the culture. But we say that's corny. But then the shit that we say is cool didn't make no money.
Is the ones that don't make the money. So the closer we get to the realness of the culture, like the belly, the dancehall queen, pretty much, kind of, stops that from being a major crossover box office hit, is what you're saying.
All right. Let me break it down to you another way. Steven Spielberg. He said something interesting. He says, "Yo, I will do, you know, things like Star Wars, or a couple of these other movies, because it allows me to do things like The Color Purple. That is cool, but Color Purple didn't get any Oscars or get anything. It wasn't a box office smash like Jurassic Park. So my brother, it's a balancing act in your life. You see me do a pop song, but tomorrow morning you see me go back and do a dancehall tune and such. You got to know how to balance it. We need to learn how to balance because we have a rich culture. Mm-hmm. You're talking a culture of 3 million people, right? Less than 3 million people. And look at how culturally, how much our inputs on a global scale, culturally, from sports to music, economics, you name it. Nigeria have 150 million people, and I'm sure you can name 5 famous Nigerians. Think about the amount of groundbreaking Jamaicans you have. Come on, man. We need to realize what brand Jamaica is. We need to realize our value and grab onto it and manage it right and educate our people.
What do you think, before you go, what do you think the issue is, though, with Jamaica, the powers that be in Jamaica actually realizing what Shaggy realizes? When do, the powers that be in Jamaica, in addition, of course, to the people who are involved in the music industry, start to realize that Jamaica is indeed a brand and we need to put some effort and money into establishing it the way that it needs to be established? What's causing that not to happen from your understanding? Because you're there, and the greatest thing about Shaggy, guys, and this is something that I admire, right? Shaggy comes from, us. Like, when I say comes from us, he comes from the core. So he has a very, very vivid, straight understanding of the core and the day-to-day struggle of the average inner city youth and so forth. And also, he's also, who he is now. So he also has that other side of him where he understands the day-to-days of the private sector and the political situations that's happening in Jamaica. Now, from you having 2 feet, right, 1 foot over here and 1 foot over there, I'm asking a Shaggy, in your observation, Shaggy, what do you think is stopping, right, the powers that be on the left side to join forces with the powers that be on the right side and really establish what we've been talking about for years in Jamaica? The lack of museums, the lack of honoring some of the great contributors to the music, and just setting up the music structurally in which people globally can still be proud of the music or continue to be proud of the music.
Everything boils down to analytics, my brother. It's a numbers game. Culturally, we have to create value. Mm-hmm. That's the only way you're going to have those conversations, is create value. Now, I think that people understand that culturally we're great, and their brand Jamaica is a big brand. But now we got to try to figure out how to create value.
How to make money, correct, right?
Exactly, because if you don't create the value, then you're not going to have the bargaining power. You're not going to have the leverage.
But it seems to me that the upper echelon in Jamaica, those who really have status and have the money to invest, know that the music is a major pull towards Jamaica. But for some reason, based on my observation, they just don't want to get involved.
They know that it can be lucrative. They don't know if they want to invest. Take, for instance, you have a horse, and the horse, you have bet on a race. And the horse, they look like a horse where want to run. The horse look healthy, right? The horse, you look on the stable, the horse owner do the right thing. Then you have to bet your money on the horse there. If you didn't understand the ass look like him don't want to jump through the starting gate to rot it, you not gonna bet your money on that one day either.
See.
So you want a man, you want a ass, you gonna bet your money on that ass to run the race. Ass not for winning enough. But you just know to the ass to run the race. They're looking at the crop of us and say, well, these guys not even gonna get in the race. Them man they're not gonna run the race. Them man they not gonna show up for the interview upon time. Them man they not gonna this, them man they not gonna that. And you're going to look on the crop of it. And why would you get investors at that point? How are you going to attract investors? I can attract investors. And people always ask me, when I do Shaggy and friends, they say, yo, y'all is getting the most sponsors of Jamaica. Because they see what they're getting.
Right.
They know that I have a track record of delivering. If you don't create that track record, that's the value I'm talking about creating. You're going to bet on me. Because I've showed you over for the last 30 years that I am the guy you can bet on. As a young act comes, you got to show those qualities to make people want to bet on you. People want to invest in you. And I'm not just talking monetarily. Invest in time. Invest their contract, their contacts. You got to be that guy that's going to go in and work that room. That's what it boils down to, creating value. Then you'll have a conversation.
Those of you who are just locked in, I'm speaking to multi-Grammy artist, Shaggy. And before I let Shaggy go, Shaggy, I have to, talk about the fact that I just watched you on TV maybe about 2 days ago. And we were debating in the office because someone was telling me that's an old commercial. That's a new commercial, correct? With it wasn't me with the guy eating the chips and him and his girlfriend in the household. And she's stealing chips.
That's our Super Bowl commercial, which is you'll probably have another edit of it coming out on Super Bowl Sunday.
That's so crazy, man. Did you feel like It Wasn't Me would take you this far? Like, did you ever get wind of that it would take you this far?
I don't think anybody can predict a success like this, to be honest with you. I just knew that we created a record that was special. I knew there was something special about it. If you watch that Vice documentary, you realize that record almost didn't make it. Robert didn't like it, or a lot of people didn't like it, and we fought for it. I tried to give the song away. I gave it to Tonto and Devante. They voiced it. I gave it to Wayne Wonder. He voiced it. I gave it to Rayvon. He voiced it. I gave it to Notch from the Born Jamaica. He voiced it. And it ended up coming back. We got a new NR, and they liked it, and we ended up doing it. Rick Rock wasn't even supposed to be the singer. Rick Rock and I wrote it, but he was an artist at that time. He was just a guy trying to be a writer. But his voice sounded so great, so we kept him on it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then it ended up, a DJ played it out of, it was an album track. And a DJ played it out of Hawaii, and it became huge. And we went on a ride 21 years ago, and here I am again going on another amazing ride. It's just testament to making timeless music and my writing style. And I've written, it's not the first massive hit I have like this. Angel was another massive hit. Mr. Boombastic was a massive hit. Carolina was a massive hit. Summertime was a hit. I mean, Love Me. Even this year we have Banana, another massive hit. This is not buck up. I'm not, you can blame the first one for luck, the second one for luck, the third one for luck, and the fourth one, and the fifth one, and the sixth one for luck. Come on, dude.
All right, it's the formula. You have the formula, Bridget. When I felt so good looking at you on the TV and saying, "Wow, Shaggy's breaking barriers right now. This is crazy for a reggae artist." Because for me, you are a reggae artist. I don't buy into the pop thing, right? For a reggae artist to be on TV with a song that was made, what is that? How long ago did we
21 years.
21 years ago, and now the song has resurfaced again for Super Bowl commercials. Shaggy, again, I gotta say, yo, bro, big up, bro. You're really, 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 really doing it. And when I speak to you, often when we buck up or whatever, one of the things I'd like to do is just listen, because you have so much knowledge based on the experience that you have had throughout your career, that somebody like you, it's always going to be a one-sided conversation with you and I, because I'm going to do mostly listening, because every time I walk away from a conversation with you, I have more knowledge than, before I spoke to
The
you. So
thing in life, they always have this saying: if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. I put myself in the room with smarter people than me normally,
right,
and never stop being a student. Never stop being a student. You know what I'm saying? I keep young people around me. All my producers and my artists and people and writers that I'm writing with and people around it, they're young people. They're on it. I keep my finger on the pulse. And I share what I do. I'm an open book. Anybody can have a conversation with me. I'll tell you like it is, from my knowledge, from my experience, right? Right now, I'm working on Spice's music right now to come up with her project, and it's going through those lessons and showing her and teaching her how she can basically get generational wealth.
right, and I saw you mention that on Wendy Williams too. So big up for that as well.
Yeah, we're working it. We just got to keep going strong, using the platforms that we have, sharing the platform. If you look at my track record, I have brought more new artists to the promised land than anybody else. My superstars are Rick Rock and Wasn't Me, Raven and Angel, Mahambi and Fady on I Need Your Love. Recently on Banana is Conqueror. These are me. This is me using my platform for new artists, unknown artists. Most of my hits are not with huge features.
And then
This is me going for using my platform and sharing my platform with other people to go forward. Straight down to Tessa and going on The Voice and all of that.
right. And then occasionally you come out with your rhythms, and you voice some of the, top dancehall artists on them as well, and you put that out. So yeah, you've been and
And
again,
new artists.
and new artists,
new
and Barris Hammond, because remember, you mentioned it earlier, but the big song with you and Barris, that was massive in the
Yeah.
dancehall space as well. So yeah, you definitely are doing your work, bro.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're not even talking about the songs that were released by our label that we're responsible that are dancehall from both Big Yard straight up until now. Songs that was on Kelish's music that I've been involved with and Mado's music that I've been involved with. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I still hear some man talk something. I say, hey, Shaggy on the dancehall and this and that. I'm like, dude, I wrote your shit. You didn't even realize that. You know what I'm saying? It's puzzling to me. Laugh. People forget that the slow motion come out on Big Yard with Vibes Cartel. I went and got that done. We produced that. Mixed up the other day with Safco. Big tune.
Big tune.
That's us. Couple of Conscience. That's us. Chris Martin from the Dance It Nice. That's us. Chico. Girl, if you don't care, let me see you put your hand in the air. Write them tune there. Maxi Priest. Whatever your eyes can see. Shaggy. Maxi Priest is nominated for a Grammy right now. Me produce the whole album.
Yes.
See? The Whalers' first single from the album, with them nominated for a Grammy, that's me too. So we don't listen on the hypocrisy and the stupidness. You put up or shut up.
And you enjoy working
At this
behind the
point,
scenes.
I love it.
Yeah, I know you
I
enjoy
love
working behind
watching
the
things
scenes,
grow.
man.
I love it. I love it. I love music. I love music. All I want to see is it kills me to see dancehall being the birth child, the mother music of all of these genres that are doing. I used to be at Erasmus Hall with a brother by the name of El General. He was on one lunchroom desk. I was on the other lunchroom desk. Both of us went to school together. He ended up doing what I did in the dance hall, in the lunchroom by beating on the dance and DJ. And he did that in a Spanish for Team Panamanian Click. And he went at VP and did over dancehall music. One of those songs was Dembo from Shabba Rankin. And the music that reggaeton uses now is called Dembo. And El General pioneered that, and him and I was running up and down at Erasmus Hall, a DJ, and we went all the way up to Gungi Rivera, who used to basically promote those clubs all the way uptown with the Spanish people, and Fox and the man they used to go there too. And El General was the man where me and him go up in at them place there. And now that genre is a multi-million-dollar genre that controls probably about 40% of the global market in streaming. Come from dancehall, and we're 6%. Seriously? Look at Afrobeat. When you go to Africa, it was it was 90% dancehall music being played in Africa. I used to play stadium. Now they create Afrobeat, create their own. And it's streaming way more than dancehall. After a while, the Japanese and they start because look for Mighty Crown. Come on. What are we doing here? We're losing the culture. You look at hip hop right now that came from Cool Herc. Look at the numbers. And we're 6%. Really? We can't have a conversation. We can't. Well, why would Spotify want to have a conversation with anybody in dancehall? They wouldn't even take the meeting. Wake up. People are making. Let's talk about Jimmy Buffett fund. You might look at it and say, hey, you might say, Jay-Z is the smartest guy in music, or Beyonce, or Michael Jackson. Smartest guy in music is Jimmy Buffett. He did it on one song. He created $1 billion enterprise from one song. Margaritaville, one song. And he did it out of the Jamaican culture. Chris Blackwell created an empire that gives you U2 and all of them things there. Everything that is happening with Katy Perry and Lady Gaga and the millions they're making, that's Grace Jones. Do not underestimate this culture, bro. What are we doing? The baton is passed to this generation. They must stand up and go at it and go get it. When we was doing it, nobody know the culture. It wasn't being played on mainstream radio. It is now.
Right.
Just not by us. Ed Sheeran and Drake and them is doing it. And making numbers. Come on, man. Wake up. We need to wake up.
Shaggy, man, thank you so much for your words of wisdom. And again, just before you go, we reiterate that you are saying that gun lyrics and gangster lyrics in dancehall should not be the blame for the increased crime rate or the constant crime rate in our society in Jamaica, correct?
Should not.
Should not.
Should not.
Thank you so much, my brother. Thanks for the time. Yes, sir?
Yeah, man. Give thanks.
Give thanks.